All right, guys. So, for our sake, like with vectors, we're not going to go that in depth with it. Just to give you like a basic, so you've heard the term before. That's what we want with this. So when you move on to other classes, you're like, oh yeah, I know what a vector is. Okay, it has a direction and it has a size. All right. So a vector is represented by the coordinate plane in the coordinate plane. So that's where like our specific part. So it's represented in the coordinate plane by an arrow drawn from an initial point. All right. So in the picture, the initial point is P, and then it's drawn to a terminal point. All right. So terminal point, which is Q. Okay. And when we're drawing a vector, this is our notation. All right. So it says denoted. That's the notation. This is how we write it down using math lingo, I think. So using math lingo, using our math notation, it's going to be vector PQ. So it's just a line with an arrow. The component form of the vector. So this is kind of like where we split the vector up into different parts. And this is kind of where the translation part is going to overlap with vectors. So a vector is written as we have our vector PQ. So still using that example. All right. Has the line with the arrow on top. And then it's going to equal, and we use these different brackets. So you draw a line, a diagonal line, and then a diagonal line. Okay. And we're going to use A and B. There are variables, but they're just going to be some number. All right. And then we draw that kind of oddly shaped bracket on the other side. So that's how we denote the component form of a vector. So where A is the horizontal component, so A is moving left or right, okay? And B is moving up or down, all right? So that's how we kind of denote that using math notation. So, and the component form of the vector to the right, just so you guys get an idea of what we're looking at here. We're moving, oops. All right, so if we go from P to Q, all right, if we trace that path, we're moving 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 to the right, all right? And then we're going 7 up. We're going up 7. Okay, so still kind of the same thing, still thinking of it as like a translation. So for this part, it's going to be PQ, all right, vector PQ equals, put that bracket there, and we went 4, so the horizontal component, all right, to the left or right, we moved a positive 4, and then we went up 7, so we moved in the y direction positively, so it's going to be positive 7. All right, so hopefully this is starting to make a little sense. Hopefully it'll make a little bit more sense when we do some of the examples. So we got to name each vector, then write the vector in component form. So naming the vector, it's always like make sure we're naming it correctly. So the first letter we use is that initial point is where it's starting. And then the second letter we use is the terminal point, and that's the point next to where the arrow is. So with this one, this is going to be vector WV, okay? So be very specific with the name. W is the initial point. If you see, there's an arrow here next to V. So we're starting at W, going to V. All right, V is where we're stopping, so that's why V is the second letter when we're naming it. All right, so it's going to be vector WV, and then it equals, and we use those brackets again, and we got to see how many we're going to, and this time we're going to the right, which is a positive x direction. So we're going to have a positive value. So we're going to the right 9. All right, and we're going up 3. So I kind of draw that right triangle, okay? And we're going up. Up is a positive direction as well. So we're both going to have positive values for our A and our B component. So for this one, it's going to be 9, 3. And we're done. Okay, that's it.